I stood in my wedding dress for hours in a church full of whispers, only to receive a letter from my groom saying he wasn't coming. This is not regular love story but rather a story of heartbreak, emptiness, and revenge. Hi everyone. You are welcome to my channel. If you like our stories and similar infidelity stories, please do well to subscribe to our channel for more stories like this. And if you are already subscriber, thanks for stopping by, and do not forget to turn on your notification button so as to get notifications anytime we post our stories. Now let's dive into the gist. George and I had planned our wedding down to the smallest detail: flowers, music, cake. Everything was set for December. The only thing missing was me meeting his parents. They lived in Texas, far from our home in Miami, and George insisted we visit before the big day. When we arrived, his parents welcomed me warmly. His mother hugged me as if she'd known me all her life, and his father told George he was lucky. It all felt perfect, until I met Anderson, George's younger brother. He was tall, handsome in a dangerous way, and his eyes lingered on me longer than they should. At first, I thought I was imagining things. But over the next few days, he made little comments, about my dress, my smile, the way I walked. It was unsettling. I told myself not to create problems. After all, soon we would be family, and I didn't want to cause tension. I kept it to myself, hoping it would pass. But some storms don't pass, they only gather strength. And mine was coming fast. It happened on a quiet afternoon. George's parents had gone out, and George was running errands with his father. Anderson and I were alone in the house. I was in the kitchen making tea when he walked in, smiling in a way that made my skin crawl. Before I could move, he came closer. "Relax," he said, pouring something into my drink without me noticing. Minutes later, the world began to spin. My body felt heavy. The last thing I saw was Anderson's smirk before everything went black. When I opened my eyes, I was on the couch, my clothes disturbed, my head pounding. My stomach turned as the truth hit me: I had been drugged. Before I could gather myself, George and his parents returned. George walked into the living room, froze, and his face changed instantly. Anderson stood there, shirtless, pretending to be innocent. George's eyes met mine, full of confusion and pain. I tried to speak, but my voice trembled. "George." I didn't. But the damage was done. I saw the trust we had built for years begin to crumble in seconds. That night, I told George everything: how Anderson had been making advances, how I had kept it from him to protect the family. George sat quietly, his jaw tight. "I believe you," he finally said. "And I forgive you. We'll put this behind us." I wanted to believe him, to trust that love was enough to heal this wound. When we returned to Miami, we threw ourselves into wedding preparations. I chose my dress, sent out the invitations, and tried to push the memory away. George smiled and kissed me like before, but something in his eyes had changed. There was a distance, like a door he had closed inside himself. I convinced myself it was stress. The wedding was just weeks away, and soon we would be husband and wife. I didn't know that his promise of forgiveness was only words, and that my wedding day would become the loneliest day of my life. The church was filled with flowers and guests. My white dress flowed around me as I stepped out of the car. My heart pounded with excitement. Today was the day I would become Mrs. George Carter. But when I entered the church, George wasn't there. Minutes passed. Then hours. Guests whispered, my maid of honor tried to calm me, but my stomach twisted with dread. In the late afternoon, a man walked in holding an envelope. "This is for Sonia," he said. My hand shook as I opened it. It was George's handwriting. "Sonia, I can't do this. I can't marry you after what happened with Anderson. I know you say it wasn't your fault, but I can't live with that picture in my mind. I'm sorry." The world blurred. My bouquet fell to the floor. I realized then that love isn't always killed by lies, it can die from the truth, even when the truth is innocent. I walked out of that church alone, my veil trailing behind me like a ghost of the life I was supposed to have. Have you heard or experienced similar situation? Please tell us how you handle it in the comments section, and do not forget to turn on your notification button so as to get notifications anytime we post our stories. Thank you and see you in my next video.